Okay, just a continuation of the 2019 question 5. So the last part of this question is to do a rotation anti-clockwise through 90 degrees from P3 to P4. So with that in mind, at this stage, you should have completed the axial symmetry, central symmetry, and then the translation. And I would have explained in class how to do axial symmetry. You were joining P to P1, you were bisecting the distance in the middle, and with each point you brought it through parallel to the green line there and take the distance and strike it off. With central symmetry, we're joining P1 to P2 and bisecting it, and every point had to go through O, the same distance, and again you draw your shape. And then finally, for translation, you joined P2 to P3, and every point had to go parallel to that exact distance. So 7 had to go the same distance, 3, 2 and 1 and so on had to all go the same distance. Lastly, we're going to do a rotation from P3 to P4 through 90 degrees. So what you need to do with that, and I'm going to do this in colour as well. I'm going to do it lightly, it's in yellow. I hope you'll be able to see it. I'm going to join P3 to P4. So I'm going to double check that's actually visible on the camera. It is, but not very well. I'm going to change the colour to this. So joining P3 to P4. Now we want 90 degrees at the top of a triangle, and you know at this stage that there's 180 degrees in a triangle. 180 degrees minus 90 is 90 degrees. So the other two sides, or two angles, you need to divide 2 into 90, and that's 45 degrees. So from each of these vertices, if I come at 45 degrees to it, like I'm just about to do now, using my 45 degree set square, you will get the point of rotation. So I'm going 45 degrees from one side. I'm now going to come 45 degrees from the other side by sliding my set square in the opposite direction, if it would allow me to do so. My board is stopping me. Okay, and 45 degrees from the other side. I should have 90 degrees directly in the centre now. But if you want to, you can use your protractor in order to do this. So what you do is you grab your protractor and you'd measure, put your compass or protractor on the centre point, you'd measure the 45 degrees from one side, you'd measure the 45 degrees from the other side. Okay, so there's 45 inside there, and there's 45 degrees inside here, and that means there's 90 degrees in the centre, and this gets you your centre point, O. Every point has to join to O, and you need to measure 90 degrees. Now, I'm going to use my set square to do this, my 45 degree set square, because it's just faster. So, I am going to join, that's point 1, I'll label these now, 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to join 1 to O. Okay, and I'm going to measure 90 degrees by turning my set square. That will be 90 degrees to it. Sorry, now I know that's kind of coming out of focus. Still out of focus. And measure the 90 degrees. I'll just double check that that hasn't slid. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so I've measured 90 degrees. And now I'm going to grab my compass and I'm going to rotate 1 onto that line. I'll have found my point 1, and I repeat this the 7 different times. So bring 1 over and 1 will be here. So I have P4 and I have 1. Then I'm going to do 2. Join 2 to O. Measure your 90 degrees. And again, this is going to keep happening. I need to move this just down. Okay, and rotate 2 onto that line. So take the distance over, just presuming you can see it. Yeah, take the distance to 2 and rotate it around onto the line 2. Mark it off, call it 2. Do the same with 3. So this time I'm joining 3 to O. I'm measuring the 90 degrees. Don't think it's long enough at the minute. I might need to make it a little bit longer. Okay, and I'm going to rotate 3 around. Okay, and find your 3. At this stage, you should be able to draw the box. So I'm just going to double check how my parallel lines are working. They're good. then going to do the side of the box. And again, I'm going to have to move this down for that to happen. Okay, so I have the box done. Next is point 4. So join point 4 to O. Not sure if you can see point 4, you can. Join point 4 to O. Measure to 90 degrees. And rotate 4 onto the line. Okay. I can now draw the circle if I want to, but I might as well find points 5 and 6 first. Okay, so bring 5 to O, measure the 90 degrees, and rotate 5 onto that line. And finally, number 6. Now, find O, find 6, measure the 90 degrees, and I actually think I'm going to have to extend this line out a little bit more because I don't think it's long enough. Okay, and then rotate 6 onto that line. Now that we have all of the coordinates, we can draw in our shape, and I'm just going to use my heavier pencil just for the circle. So the circle was a radius of 25. You can measure the 25, or you can take the distance from one of the circles you've already drawn. So that should be it, yeah. Oh, there was one point that I've actually missed, and that is point 7. I only see that now. So again, measure your 90 degrees and continue that line on if it's too low or too light. Okay, now that you have 7, you can join up your entire shape. So join 5 to 7 and join 6 to 7. Now for some reason my circle isn't on the point 6, but it must be that my circle wasn't actually drawn big enough in the first instance, but that's easily rectified. So okay, so there's just a little bit off there on that side. Okay, I'm just going to redraw the tangent in just a little bit lower. Okay, and finish off that part just to make it a little bit nicer to present. Okay, so that is the question complete. So at this stage, we have looked at doing the object, the axial symmetry, central symmetry, translation, and finally the rotation that was went through 90 degrees. You always usually have to consider the triangle that's involved in doing it. And once you have that, bring all the points to the center, measure the angle, and rotate the point.